The ocean is full of life, but it is hard to study all those creatures that live in the deep sea, because it is so dark and cold down there. But every once in a while, scientists will capture amazing footage of strange animals during an expedition. And we've got 5 videos for you today from a recent expedition where they discovered some truly bizarre creatures. So let's see what they found. Welcome back, everyone. Here at 5, we like to bring you the most intriguing stories from the ocean. And today we're taking you along on a recent expedition to the deep sea, where cameras caught some extremely rare creatures. You won't want to miss this. In the last few decades, technology has improved drastically, and now we can explore parts of the ocean that were never seen before. The first manned submarine was almost 50 years ago, and the first remotely operated vehicle, ROV, didn't appear until 1960 with Argo. Nowadays, these robots have become incredibly advanced. They can go much deeper and stay down there much longer than any human could. And they have high-definition cameras that allow us to observe the animals without disturbing them. One of the most impressive ROVs is the one used by the Schmidt Ocean Institute. This robot can reach depths of about 2,000 meters and has high-definition cameras and lights to illuminate the area. And this is how the footage we'll be looking at today was taken. In April 2023, the Schmidt Ocean Institute SROV launched an expedition to the Ningaloo Canyons near the coast of Western Australia. This area is a UNESCO World Heritage Site and is home to many animal species. But not much is known about the deep part of the canyons, which is why this expedition was organized. It aimed to map this area and discover what species live there. During the 3 weeks of exploration, they went over 72,000 square kilometers and collected hundreds of hours of video. Although the main goal was mapping the terrain, they also discovered some unique creatures. Let's take a look at the top 5. Number 5, smooth-mouth frogfish. If you've ever looked up frogfish on Google, you probably found this image. That's the common frogfish, and the smooth-mouth frogfish looks quite similar, except for its color and the bumps on its head. However, there are more differences between them. For example, their habitat. The smooth-mouth frogfish lives much deeper, between 700 and 2,000 meters deep. We still don't know much about them, like how long they live or how they reproduce. But we do know that they use a trick to catch their food, kind of like the common frogfish. Their front dorsal fin is modified into a lure that dangles in front of their mouths. This lure has small light-producing cells called photophores that make it glow. Small fish pass by and think it's delicious, but when they try to eat it, they end up getting eaten themselves. These frogfish have been observed with prey items such as jellyfish, crustaceans, and fish. 4. Hatchetfish. Hatchetfish are another species that you'll find deeper down in the ocean. They get their name from their flat, hatchet-like bodies and silvery sides, which help camouflage them from predators. These features make them perfectly adapted for living in the mesopelagic zone of the ocean, where sunlight begins to fade away, and most animals are either brightly bioluminescent or completely black to avoid being noticed by predators. This zone is also known as the twilight zone, and hatchetfish usually live around 200 to 1,000 meters below the surface. They have special light-sensing cells that can detect the faintest amount of light in their eyes, have evolved to see well in very dim conditions. Despite their excellent vision, they still have trouble seeing directly above them. Since their heads are flattened, instead they can see very well to the sides of them. This makes sense since predators would most likely be coming from above. But there's another problem. Since they can't see above them, can't tell if the bright light they see is a predator or not. So they developed a trick to defend themselves. When threatened, they release a cloud of mucus that obscures the water around them, allowing them to escape. However, this only works so many times since it takes a lot of energy to produce this mucus. That's why hatchetfish are mostly ambush predators. They use their large mouths to quickly eat prey that swims too close. Their jaws work like bellows, expanding their mouths to huge sizes before quickly snapping them shut. And although they're mostly eating other fish, they'll also eat plankton and small squid. 3 vampire squid. As we mentioned earlier, many animals that live in the deep sea are bioluminescent. This means they can produce their own light, and it helps them to camouflage themselves against the light shining from above. This is called counter-illumination. One of the most famous animals that use this adaptation is the vampire squid. They live around 600 to 900 meters deep and their bodies are filled with photophores that can change color. Usually they turn their bodies red to blend in with the red light that filters through the water from above. This makes it harder for predators to notice them. But sometimes they all turn blue or green to blend in with the light from bioluminescent animals that live in shallower waters. The vampire squid is mostly a scavenger, meaning it eats dead animals that float down from the surface. However, it doesn't always wait for food to come to it. Sometimes it actively seeks out food. To do this, it moves into shallower waters where there's more food. And since it has webbed arms, it can form a funnel to trap smaller animals. Then it uses its beak to slice through the skin of its prey and sucks it into its mouth. No. 2. Ninja lantern shark. If you're going to venture into the deep sea, you need to be prepared to see some strange creatures. And the ninja lantern shark is one of the weirdest. These sharks don't look like typical sharks. Their bodies are elongated and flattened, and their bellies are almost transparent, which allows researchers to see inside their bodies. They have 2 separate dorsal fins, and their pectoral fins are fused together. What's even stranger is that they have photophores, just like the animals in the previous category. They use these photophores for counter-illumination and to attract prey. But there's another reason for having these lights. Scientists think they might be used for communication, since they seem to flash different colors. Unfortunately, we do not know much about their behavior or diet, since they are so elusive and hard to find. They usually live at depths of 200 to 700 meters, and are rarely caught by deep-sea fishers. The reason they're rarely caught is because they usually eat very small prey and swim slowly. This makes them easy targets for larger fish, so they've evolved to be masters of disguise. When threatened, they can turn off their lights and hide in the darkness, making it harder for predators to spot them. Number 1. Bigfin squid. Squid are very intelligent animals, and they come in all shapes and sizes. The bigfin squid is one of the largest, with a total length of almost 13 meters. That includes its tentacles. Its mantle is only 3 meters long, but its 2 fins can grow up to 7 meters each. But despite its huge size, not much is known about the bigfin squid. The first specimen was only discovered in 2004, and since then only 2 others have been found. All 3 were found in the same area, south of Tasmania and east of New Zealand. But this is the only place where they've been found. So far, they're probably very rare, but we don't know that for sure since we haven't explored the deep sea that thoroughly. What we do know is that they live at depths of 4,000 to 5,000 meters. It's much deeper than where the other animals on this list live. That's probably why they're so elusive, since it's harder to explore such great depths. The maximum depth record for the first bigfin squid was 4,700 meters. At that depth, the pressure is immense, about 47 megapascals. That's equivalent to having 470 African elephants standing on a 1 square meter patch of land. This makes it very difficult for gases to dissolve in the water. That's why very few animals can live at such depths. And what's even more remarkable is that the bigfin squid has very large eyes, with the biggest eyes on any animal. They are about 33 centimeters wide, and that helps them to see in the dim light that penetrates the water at that depth. But we don't know much else about them. We do not know what they eat, or how fast they can swim, or if they have any natural enemies. The only thing we know is that they probably live a slow and steady life. Thanks for watching. Do you find the deep sea fascinating or terrifying? Which of these animals did you find the most interesting? Let us know in the comments section below. Make sure to leave a like before you go. And if you haven't already, then what are you waiting for? Subscribe for more amazing videos. See you next time.